obligation
was made
of the
before the Sialda
authorities
court.
of the hospital.
Yes.
The parents are not present in the hospital when the murder takes place.
Yes.
It's the obligation of the authorities of the hospital to register an FIR the moment they realize.
It was done. 2:45 done. The letter was sent.
11:45 in the
No, 2:45 letter was sent. Assistant superintendent sent a letter at 2:45 minutes. It's not 11:30. At 2:45 itself, we'll set out all this, Malad. It's better we set it.
What we,
Lordships may give me 5 minutes, Lord,
Yes.
to further, Lord, to assist your Lordships. Lord, first of all, Lord, let us not trivialize on this side, my Lord. We are dealing with one incident, but your Lordships are rightly looking at a larger picture. But we are dealing with, my Lord, a young doctor, not only raped by a sexual pervert or perverts, but who was an animal-like instinct, who had an animal-like instinct, the way, my Lord, the body was handled. Thereafter, my Lord, I don't wish, my Lord, to make this a political issue. I would request the state also not to be in a denial mode. 3 hours of the patient parents waiting, my Lord, is something we can experience if we put ourselves in that position. Now, my Lord, so far as the safety is concerned, Lord, one thing I must bring to your Lordship's notice. Lord, the doctors are genuinely, my Lord, have a grievance. They are, my Lord, they've lost one of their colleagues, my Lord, globally. But, Lord, out of, my Lord, all states, 23 states have legislations dealing with, my Lord, what is called for, my Lord, Kerala, my Lord, so-and-so Medicare service persons and medical service institutions, Prevention of Violence and Damage or Loss to the Property Act. There are, my Lord, I'll give, my Lord, the list of acts. My Lord, this also the National Task Force, my Lord, can
the punishment which is provided under
it's a cognizable, my Lord, and
3 years.
3 years.
Yes, my Lord. It's cognizable, non-bailable, and punishment is 3 years. My Lord, this is first. I'll, my Lord, place it. The National Task Force, my Lord, which our Lordships contemplate, can, my Lord, go into this, can even make suggestions, and it should be welcome, my Lord. Lord, second thing, my Lord, which is worrying us is this. Lord, even in a well-organized function, if we want the presence of 500 people in an auditorium, we all know we have to make efforts. 7,000 people at the middle of the night armed with lathis and hockeys, my Lord, can never be without the knowledge, if not consent, of the police force. It's complete failure of law and order, my Lord, in the entire state.
What time did the vandalization of the hospital take place?
Lord, midnight. It's at midnight, my Lord.
I thought my learned
people...
friend, he doesn't want to politicize the matter, Malad. Why is he saying all this?
Now, why this is, my Lord, important.
We should be called upon. We'll tell you what happened.
Mr. Solicitor, what we'll do is that we'll...
One more aspect. Lord, and my Lord, again, my learned friend may feel that this is, my Lord, but this is directly related to the issue in question. Lord, the West Bengal has an in-charge DIG. In-charge DIG, Director General of Police, who is already being charged and being considered by your Lordships for having fabricated or otherwise dealt with the evidence in Sharda scam case. Lord, your Lordship's
Calcutta Police doesn't come under DGP. Calcutta Police doesn't come under DGP. Why are you saying all this?
What this has to do there.
Director General of Police is an in-charge DGP. Not let someone else be the
This is what is happening.
Let them choose. But not the man who is already accused.
This is the kind of misinformation we are having, Malad. This is nothing to do. This is
nothing to do.
Only a minute.
Malad, I have only one small request.
What do you propose to do about the principal?
Whatever your Lordship says, we'll do, Malad.
As
Malad, whatever your Lordship says, we will do. There's no issue. SIT is constituted. SIT is constituted, but whatever your Lordships will say, we will do. We are not, Malad, this is not adversarial, as I said. Malad, just give me just 1 minute. I just handed over something to your Lordship. Just have a look at it, Malad. Just give it to my Lord. 3 copies that I handed.
All right, Mr. Sibal, we'll just hear the solicitor for a minute. He just wants a minute.
Right.
And then
Lord, I just, my Lord, I want this, my Lord.
Your Lordship,
Lord,
may I
an
just submit?
in-charge DG who is already a tainted officer in an affidavit filed before this court should be replaced by any other in charge DG of their choice.
Well, just have this.
Another
We have
one.
we have set out what is in the media and we have set out the reality.
No, share it with
For-
all of us.
We will share it, don't worry.
No.
Kolkata police informed the family members that the present case was
They
a
are
case
in
of
a
suicide.
denial.
False.
No, another
False.
aspect.
At no time did the police give this information.
Presently, what we propose to do is we'll indicate what the broad parameters of our intervention in this matter consists of. We'll just pronounce it very shortly. For one thing, Mr. Sibal, we are very, very concerned. Let not the power of the state of West Bengal be unleashed on peaceful protesters.
I give to you, we have
why-
videos of all that happened.
People, whether they are doctors, civil society, lawyers, people who are protesting, so long as there's no act of destruction of.
We have videos. We agree.
Let there not be the power of the state unleashed
Agree.
on peaceful protest.
Manoj, I agree, and that has not happened. 1 second. We have videos which we will place before your lordship. And Manoj, what happens is political parties get into the act, and this is what happens.
People who are taking to the media to communicate their views.
Yes.
Let us deal with them with a great deal of.
I agree, I
It's a time of national catharsis.
Look at the girl. Don't be in denial.
Manoj, now, for example, they say pelvic and collarbone was broken. False. Postmortem doesn't say that.
Lordship, state and the center, they'll keep arguing.
Fair.
CBI is investigating it.
Yes.
We will ask for a report from the CBI. Now, what we propose to is
Just-
1 second.
Just 1 second.
This must stop. We are in charge of the proceeding. We have heard Mr. Solicitor. We have heard Mr. Sibal. If we start hearing all the interveners, there'll be no end to it.
Lordship,
Please have some patience. We are going to now tell you what we are proposing to do. We are not disposing of the case, but let's allow us to at least pronounce what we intend to do. All right.
No, this is the list of acts.
Would your lordship just
On,
a minute?
on 9 August 2024, a 31-year-old postgraduate doctor at R.G. Kar Medical College Hospital, Kolkata, who was on a 36-hour duty shift, was raped and murdered inside the seminar room of the hospital. As horrific details have emerged in the course of media reportage, the brutality of the sexual assault and the nature of the crime have shocked the conscience of the nation. The name and graphic images of the deceased have been widely circulated on social media without regard to her privacy or dignity. Writ petitions were instituted before the Calcutta High Court seeking, among other things, a court-monitored investigation of the crime and the conduct of the hospital authorities, including the role of the principal of the medical college and other officials by a special team of investigating officers. It has been alleged that the parents of the deceased were initially informed that their daughter had committed suicide. They were permitted to see the dead body after several hours, and a first information report in regard to the murder was registered belatedly by the police after several hours. By its order dated 13 August 2024, the High Court transferred the investigation to the Central Bureau of Investigation. Following the incident, agitations and protests were called by doctors' associations, student bodies, and civic groups across the country. On the eve of Independence Day, several areas in Kolkata saw protests spurred by the Reclaim the Knife campaign. At 12:30 a.m. on 15 August, when a protest was underway at the hospital, a large mob assembled at the premises of the R.G. Kar Medical College Hospital and vandalized the emergency ward and other departments of the hospital. Following the acts of wanton disruption and vandalism, the Indian Medical Association, a private and voluntary organization of doctors in India, called for a nationwide withdrawal of medical services except emergency services for 24 hours on 17 August 2024. In the aftermath of the brutal incident and the demonstrations which followed, the state government was expected to ensure the deployment of the state machinery to prevent a breach of law and order. It was all the more necessary to do so since investigation of the crime which took place in the precincts of the hospital was underway. We are unable to comprehend how the state was not prepared to deal with the incident of vandalization of the premises of the hospital. Nationwide protests following the brutal incident in R.G. Kar Medical College Hospital have brought the issue of the lack of institutional safety for doctors to the forefront. medical associations have consistently raised issues of the lack of workplace safety in healthcare institutions. Medical professionals, in the performance of their duties, have been unfortunate targets of various forms of violence. Hospitals and medical care facilities are open throughout the day and night. Medical professionals, doctors, nurses, and paramedic staff work round the clock. Unrestricted access to every part of healthcare institutions has made healthcare professionals susceptible to violence. Patients of relatives in anguish are quick to attribute untoward results to the negligence of medical professionals. Such allegations are immediately followed by violence against medical professionals. In May 2024, 2 on-duty doctors were allegedly attacked by relatives of a patient who died during treatment in a hospital in West Bengal. In another incident in May 2024 in Bihar, following the death of a 25-year-old pregnant patient, a nurse was allegedly pushed off the first floor of the building by the kin of the patient. In August 2024, a final year resident in a hospital in Hyderabad was allegedly assaulted by a patient's attendants after the patient died due to medical conditions. These incidents of violence are a few among the many that have been unleashed against members of the medical community in the recent past. They are portents of a systemic failure to protect doctors, nurses, and paramedical staff in the confines of hospitals. With few or no protective systems to ensure their safety, medical professionals have become vulnerable to violence. With the involvement of systemic issues for healthcare across the nation, this court has had to intervene. Women are at particular risk of sexual and non-sexual violence in these settings. Due to ingrained patriarchal attitudes and biases, relatives of patients are more likely to challenge women medical professionals. In addition to this, female medical professionals also face different forms of sexual violence at the workplace by colleagues, seniors, and persons in authority. Sexual violence has had its origins even within the institution, the case of Aruna Shanbag being a case in point. There is a hierarchy within medical colleges, and the career advancement and academic degrees of young professionals are capable of being affected by those in the upper echelons. The lack of institutional safety norms at medical establishments against both violence and sexual violence against medical professionals is a matter of serious concern. While gendered violence is the source of more malevolent manifestations of the structural deficiencies in public health institutions, the lack of safety is of concern to all medical professionals. Preserving safe conditions of work is central to realizing equality of opportunity to every working professional. This is not just a matter of protecting doctors. Their safety and well-being as health providers is a matter of national interest. As more and more women join the workforce in cutting-edge areas of knowledge and science, the nation has a vital stake in ensuring safe and dignified conditions of work. The constitutional value of equality demands nothing else and will not brook compromises on the health, well-being, and safety of those who provide health care to others. The nation cannot await another rape or murder for real changes on the ground. Several states, such as Maharashtra, Kerala, Karnataka, Telangana, West Bengal, Andhra Pradesh, and Tamil Nadu, have enacted legislation to protect healthcare service professionals from violence and damage to property. All these enactments prohibit any act of violence against medical professionals. The offense is non-bailable and punishable with 3 years of imprisonment. However, these enactments do not address the institutional and systemic causes that underlie the problem, and enhanced punishment without improving institutional safety standards falls short of addressing the problem effectively.